So the men's 5,000 meter race walk set to begin in just moments. We still have a red flag at the finish line, which means that we are not clear. So you can see the men there on the backside of the track. They're starting at around the 200 meter mark. It'll be a running start. I suppose in their case we'll call it a walking start.
It better not be a running start.
No,
or they'll
it better
be
not be.
disqualified.
So there we get a really nice view of the men at the starting line. And they have been given the go-ahead, and they are off cleanly. And they already are jumping out at quite a pace. We would expect to see immediately those who qualified the fastest. We would expect to see them come around here as we see them for the first time by the finish line. I would expect to see some of those faces up there at the front.
It does look, coming out of the chute here early, the two runners from British Columbia, Gomez and Dunphy, out leading the pack.
In this case, at this moment, it's Dunphy first and Gomez in second, followed by the young man from Cedarville, Josh Wiseman.
Mm-hmm.
So right off the bat, our top three qualifiers are, in fact, the top three and have separated themselves from the rest of the pack. Not sure what happened with the race clock we've got going in front of us, but that is not an accurate time in the event that you happen to see that.
If you would direct your attention, please, to the south end of the track, the awards area.
13, 11, and 1/4.
We have awards for the men's 10,000 meter run.
Sixth, okay.
In sixth place was Austin Ellis from Milligan.
Oh, now we're seeing the young man from Cedarville, Josh Wiseman, has gone out in front of the two gentlemen from British Columbia, Dunphy and Gomez. We do see a fourth runner that is coming up to join that pack of three, but Wiseman has certainly pulled out a little bit in front of Dunphy and Gomez.
In third place, Evan Gaynor from Malone. In second, Eric Burke from Concordia, Oregon.
And Mark, I have a little bit of an update here while we have a moment on the men's decathlon. The bar is now at 13 feet, 11 and a quarter inches. That's 4.25 meters. And we still have 6 competitors left. Alex Woroff out of Southern Oregon. Then Aaron Hannon from Baker. Let's see, Brad Higgins from Doane is still alive.
Is he really? We saw him jump early, and he missed a couple times, but apparently he's getting his form together. That's very good.
Let me see here. Brad Higgins, yes, number 537. That's Bryant, Bryant Sentman from Oregon Tech. And then Jeff Altzer from Azusa Pacific. And finally, Jared Huckabee from Oklahoma Baptist. Those are the 6 remaining that I have in the men's decathlon, the pole vault competition. 13 feet, 11, almost 14 feet now.
Yeah. Still going at it. 5 competitors left.
6.
Meanwhile, we are here at the track watching the men's 5,000 meter race walk. Wiseman of Cedarville is right now in first place, followed by Dunphy and Gomez of British Columbia. Our fourth place runner is Meninozi from Notre Dame of Ohio. He is back a ways. After the last lap, it looked like he would close the gap and join this group of 3 that is leading. We do have a little bit of a switch in that top 3. Gomez is now in second place, Dunphy in third. Here comes Mike Menozzi of Notre Dame of Ohio, followed by Chris Shear of Cornerstone and Creighton Connolly of British Columbia. Those are your top 6 race walkers at this point, early in our 5,000 meter race. 5,000 meters, roughly 3 miles. So if you're wondering why they looked a little tired at the end of the women's race, they just walked very quickly a 3-mile distance. That is enough to get anybody exhausted.
We have the awards for the women's heptathlon. In 6th place, Victoria Anderson from Loma. In 5th place, Amy Boyer from Cornerstone. 4th place was Shannon Hellman from Black Hills State. 3rd place was Tiffany Parker from Azusa Pacific.
I want to remind everyone, Mark, that following this
In 2nd place,
men's
Brianna
5,000
Leslie
meter
from
race
Azusa
walk, we will then have the semifinals of the women's 100 meter, and then the semifinals of the men's 100 meter, followed by the semis of the women's 400 and the men's 400 semis after that. Then we get in a couple mid-distance race here, the women's 800 and men's 800. Then the 4x100 semis for both the women and the men's.
Our 3 leaders have just gone past us here, going into the main turn, the first turn. Nothing really has changed. Wiseman from Cedarville is in first, followed by Gomez of British Columbia, and then in third, Dunphy of British Columbia. Those 3 have opened a significant lead, about a 200-meter lead over the next 4, 5, and 6. And there we really haven't had any change either. Minozzi from Notre Dame of Ohio is in 4th place, followed by Creighton Connolly of British Columbia. And in 6th place, Chris Shear of Cornerstone.
The distance, though, Mark, between these the first 3 runners, that pack and the next group is it's
about
100 meters at least.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's closer to 200 meters distance.
Let's compromise and say 150.
All right.
But they have set themselves apart here, no doubt about it.
You're right. We're at about 150 meters.
Now you see the clock on the bottom screen to the right for this particular race. This is unofficial. It's unofficial, so I think there's a little bit of discrepancy.
I noticed that. We put the clock back up on the TV because that's what they had running, but it looked like when they came around at the finish line for the very first part of the race, they reset the clock to 0. So while we'll put this up, and this is the time that is running here in the stadium, we have been notified that this time is unofficial and probably is about a good, I'm going to guess, 30 seconds off what the actual time should be. Well, probably more like 30 to 40 seconds.
Well, now we found out that it has been adjusted, and the time there is the correct time.
Okay, so now we know it's been adjusted, and what we're seeing is the correct time.
Hey, why not?
For 4th, 5th, and 6th, the runner or race walker from British Columbia, Creighton Connolly, has now moved into 4th place. Mike Minozzi from Notre Dame of Ohio, 5th. And Chris Shear of Cornerstone is in 6th place. Meanwhile, about 150 to 200 meters in front of them is where the race for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd is taking place.
10,000 meter run. In 6th place from Eastern Oregon, Carly Coffey.
Wiseman of Cedarville, the junior, continuing to hold 1st place. Though actually there is a move coming up from one of the British Columbia runners on the inside, race walkers. So now we see a little bit of a challenge from Gomez. Wiseman still in 2nd, and Dunphy in 3rd. Inaki Gomez does come into this race with the lowest qualifying time, seated number 1. And he is living up to that billing.
Well, Mark, 7 laps remain now. And we've seen this group of 3 together, a little bit of back and forth. But a little bit of strategy already starting to play itself out here and see who wants to stay out in front, who will hang back a little bit. But with 7 laps to go, these 3 guys have stayed tight. And you have the dynamic of Gomez and Dunphy, the teammates from British Columbia, and Josh Wiseman from Cedarville. He's a little bit on his own here against these 2. So we'll see if the teammates help each other out a little bit.
They are running as they're, well, not quite as they're seeded, but basically the top 3 seeds are the top 3 runners. We've got a little switch between second and third, but the bottom line is our number 1 seeded runner, Iniki Gomez, is in first, followed by Josh Wiseman of Cedarville, third, Evan Dunphy of British Columbia.
Mentioned Roberto and Ricardo Vergara from Lindsey Wilson. Brothers looks like twins.
Yeah, that may be the case. In fact, they're running very close to each other as well, numbered 419 and 420. Here come our leaders. Gomez in first, Wiseman in second, Dunphy in third. They have already started lapping the field, so we've seen this in other distant events. So the runners you see immediately behind them are way off the pace. Really, our 4th, 5th, and 6th runners are, well, now we're going to estimate about 200 meters behind. I think the gap continues to grow.
And we can now stipulate that it is 200 meters in that gap.
So coming around the finish line here fairly soon is our 4th place runner, another British Columbia athlete, Creighton Connolly. He is seated 4th in this race. Our 5th and 6th place runners are still a ways back from them. At the pace the top 3 are going, I do think they are going to, I think they're going to lap, because what, we've got 6 laps to go.
Yeah, they could lap the field here.
Yeah. So there we get Chris Shear and Mike Menozzi have just come around the finish line. But as we turn our attention down to the end of the track in the home stretch, we see our 3 leaders coming into view. We're at the 12-minute mark in this race. Gomez qualified for this race with a time of 19 minutes, 46.96 seconds. So we've got about 7 minutes left in this race. Gomez continues to be in first, followed by Wiseman and then Dunphy. They now have 5 laps to go.
We get a good look at these guys as they come around the second turn. Our camera will follow them along that turn. You know, when the women's 5,000 meter racewalk was just a you know, about 15 minutes ago, when they would head down this backstretch, they had a pretty good breeze in their face. But right now, as we look at the flags, no wind whatsoever to speak of.
One of the judges, I noticed, they're not sure if they are giving, if those are warnings that they're not walking correctly, but I've just seen 2 of the judges here in this home stretch hold out yellow tags to the race walkers.
As I said earlier, the officials for this event are brought in specific for this event.
Is that right? Yeah, you did mention that earlier. Here come our 3, and now we've had a little bit of switching. The 2 British Columbia runners are in first and second. Now they are running in the order they've been seated. Josh Wiseman from Cedarville looking a little stressed.
Yeah, he's starting to fall just a little bit behind.
Got some saliva coming out of his mouth. Looking a bit dusted, as it were.
And with 4 laps to go, however, he can't really afford to now fall too far behind.
So with 4 laps to go, we are running in the order of the seeding. Gomez in first, followed by Dunphy, and then in third, Josh Wiseman from Cedarville. The leaders, those top 3, have got a significant lead over the 4th place person, who is the other British Columbia runner, Creighton Connolly. He is also seeded 4th, so he is in the position of his seeding. He is just now coming across the finish line, so he too has got 4 laps to go. But as you can see, our leaders are coming around the final turn down the home stretch.
Well, in the women's race, there was a lot of change, a lot of activity in the final 3 laps. So we'll see what happens in the final 3 laps of this one.
I got to tell you, now we have seen the first 2 guys have just lapped the 5th and the 6th place.
Mm-hmm.
So Wiseman of Cedarville now just crossing the finish line. 3 laps to go. It looks like this is going to be a real battle at the end between the 2 British Columbia runners, Gomez and Dunphy. They are walking very closely together.
Hey, Mark, we want to remind everyone they're watching live streaming coverage of the NAI Outdoor Track and Field Championships coming to you from Indiana Wesleyan University on the campus of Indiana Wesleyan in Marion, Indiana. This coverage is brought to you by WIW-TV. It's live and it's free.
You can't beat that combination.
What is
you?
free anymore today? But if wherever you are watching, we'd love to hear from you. Go to WIW-TV51.com. You can contact us there. It's very helpful for us to know, who's watching, where you are. Again, we're not going to send anything to you or ask for anything in return other than just a little bit of feedback. And this event will be here at Indiana Wesleyan for the next 2 years at least. And so this is the first time ever that the NAI National Championships in track and field have been covered live in any kind of format. So first year for us. We'd love to make it even better next year. But in order to do that, we need to hear from you folks and let us know what you like to see.
We have 2 laps to go now in the 5,000-meter race walk. Gomez in first, followed by Dunphy. 1 and 2, they're 2 seedings. Here comes Josh Wiseman, the 3rd seed from Cedarville. He has dropped off the pace quite a bit.
Yeah.
He now has lapped the 5th place, who just went by as well, Mike Minozzi.
Josh Wiseman, I think you could tell he was giving it everything he had to keep up with both Gomez and Dunphy and try to stay close and see if he can hang with them. But we knew those 2, at least by time coming into this event. They were the top 2, and Wiseman at this point just not able to keep up.
Well, the leaders will be coming around this track. They're approaching about the 300-meter point.
I'm not sure who that was across the way, but someone in the decathlon, the pole vault, they've cleared over 14 feet now.
Yeah. Well, and that clearly will help him in his point total.
So we will have the results of that to you a little bit later. We're able to, if you're watching this morning, brought to you the hurdles and the discus and much of the pole vault, but that was this morning in the decathlon. The ladies' heptathlon completed just a little while ago.
Here come our leaders in the 5,000-meter race walk. They will be getting the bell. This will be their last lap coming up. And it should be interesting to see how this lap goes. Last lap. Gomez in first, Dunphy in second. This is how they have been seated coming into the race. They are teammates. Josh Wiseman of Cedarville in third place. A good 100 meters behind those 2. Those 3 have lapped everybody
Our leaders of the 5,000-meter race
in the
walk
race.
last lap are Gomez, Dunphy, both from British Columbia, and Wiseman from Cedarville, top three.
So you can see the difference in the pace on our camera right now as they're lapping some more people. It's just there's a significant speed difference. I am glad not to be a judge in this event because this has got to be a very difficult thing to determine if you are sticking to the proper form. The judges are, though, spaced around this entire event, watching very carefully as they come around. So everywhere we go, the judges are stationed and they're watching. Well, here we're coming down. Our two leaders are coming down, and and he just was disqualified. That is why, and I have wondered about his running, that is why Dunphy has just fallen down, is because he was disqualified by one of the judges for failing to keep his form. So in first place is Gomez. He has won this event. Josh Wiseman of Cedarville will now come in second because Dunphy was DQ'd right down the final home stretch.
Well, for a moment there, I wondered had Dunphy maybe got injured, but then it was clear he was not injured. He'd been disqualified.
Here comes Wiseman, who is finishing in second. He will turn in second because Dunphy was DQ'd. Dunphy is not looking happy at all. He is very, very unhappy with the fact that he was DQ'd. But I really was wondering as he was going, he looked to me like he was running, and the judges agreed with that assessment, and he has been disqualified from the finals. So we've got only two of our runners who have finished. Dunphy DQ'd. Our winner is Aniki Gomez of British Columbia. Dunphy is a sophomore, so he'll have an opportunity to come back next year and take a chance at this again.
I know Dunphy is upset, but of course the bigger implication are the points that are lost for his team.
Yeah, exactly. However, if we can find him, Creighton Connolly was in fourth. He has now moved up to third. He also from British Columbia. So he is racer number 97. It looks to me like I'm looking for him out on the track. I'm not finding him at this point. He was he had been lapped.
Yeah.
So he is somewhere out on the, might be him with about the 300-meter mark.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, he will take the third spot. We'll be able to give you that. I think that is him because he is moving pretty quickly. So if I were him, I would take it easy and make sure that he doesn't find himself disqualified like his teammate. Actually, I'm not seeing Conley. Well, who I am seeing is Minozzi. Now, whether or not he's on the same lap, we don't know, and so we'll see as he comes to the... Yes,
he is.
It is Minozzi who has finished third. I'm not sure where Conley is.
Mike Minozzi from Notre Dame of Ohio finishes third. And that is Chris Shear, I believe. Chris Shear, the junior from Cornerstone, who will take fourth. Well, it's such a long race where there's been so many athletes lapped and spread out. It is it's a challenge to try to keep them.
I'm starting to see that there may be some runners who have also been disqualified in the back part of the track or have pulled themselves out. I'm seeing a Cedarville runner right here, Paul Akita, who is no longer in the race. The way he's acting, I have a feeling he got DQ'd as well. Starting to wonder if Connolly also was DQ'd, unless he finished without our noticing it, but I have not seen him come around. And he was clearly... Well, the results of this race are very surprising and very interesting.
Yeah.
The two brothers of Lindsey Wilson finishing what appears to be 5th and 6th. Actually,
Roberto
now
Vergara.
what we're seeing, though, here on the leaderboard, okay, 2 Cedarville runners. Grant Bacon, who actually came in 4th or 3rd.
Well, we'll just have to wait for the official
Yes,
results.
we will. This is getting. I think the judges on this really. I think they have disqualified a number of runners here as we have gotten towards the end of this race.
We have an update on the men's decathlon pole vault. Men's decathlon pole vault. We are currently at a height of 14 feet 7.25 inches. For our friends north of the border, that's 4.45 meters. 4 competitors still in the event.
Okay. I could tell you right now that information where they put up that Bacon was in 3rd is incorrect.
No, that
because
is
he
not
is
correct.
still on the track.
Yeah, that is not correct.
They've got to do something. We do know Gomez won. Wiseman is in 2nd. And as best we can tell,
Mike
Minozzi came in 3rd.
Yes. And then I believe we said it was it Shear, Chris Shear from
Right.
Cornerstone, that was 4th.
Yeah. Well, we'll trust the officials to get this all worked out as we come in here. All the results at this point are unofficial. We do know that the women contestants in the 100-meter dash have now made their way down to the starting point, and that is in just a minute. As soon as we're finished with this race, we will be giving you the women's 100-meter dash.
And no surprise as we get back to activity over here on the west side of the track. The bleachers on this side start to fill back up.
Yep.
Hey, quick update on the men's decathlon. They are now at 4 athletes still alive at 14 feet 7.25 inches. 14 7.25.
Wow.
Or 4.45 meters. 4 athletes still alive.
We're getting up to some pretty good heights there. When we start getting to those heights.
No, particularly for the decathlon.
Yeah.
Where this is not their specialty.
Right. So it'll be interesting to see how the point totals shake down as we wrap up that competition. They will have 2 more competitions in the men's decathlon. This is only event number 8.
It's David Horst from Goshen just finishing his Racewalk.
I think we only have 1 more athlete, 2 more out on the 3 more. I'm sorry, out on the track. All 3 are coming down the final stretch. This is now Grant Bacon from Cedarville finishing, followed by Alexander Jacobson of Ashford. And 1 final competitor out on the track, Joel Pfaffler of Cedarville. Pfaffler, a freshman.
And our final competitor crosses the finish line in the men's 5,000-meter race walk.
All right. Well, now we wait until the official results of that. There's some shaking out of things.
We have on the screen now some of the results. There you see Gomez and Wiseman.
Conley
Minozzi.
must have been DQ'd because he's not showing up at all. Yeah, there he is down at the bottom. And I have a feeling what we're going to see is those 3 probably will get some kind of indication. But right now it looks like Gomez, Wiseman, and Minozzi, your top 3 finishers. Of course, we know because this is a finals event, the top 8 do score points for their teams.
And as we mentioned before this particular race, this is the event, especially for the track events, as much as anything, that technique and the technical aspects of that event come into play maybe more than any other.
Boy, I'll say, and we could see that there down the final stretch as Dunphy from British Columbia was in 2nd place, and right with less than 100 meters from the finish, he was disqualified by one of the judges. We're waiting now still for our information to be official. We're showing it there, and there we go. We had 3 who were disqualified and 1 who did not finish. Akita from Cedarville, but Dunphy, Connolly, and Vergara were DQ'd there towards the end, and obviously it hurts their team. And if we get to that second graphic, the first page of graphics will show you the top 8 finishers in this event. Well, we want to take just a brief break here before we show you the preliminary heat, the semifinal heat of the women's 100s meter, though it looks like it is about to start really soon.
Yeah, the officials had those ladies down at the north end of the track, ready to go as soon as the